मन जाकर राखो जी, गिरधारी लाल। मन जाकर राखो जी।
Is episode 37. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. In the last discourse we have been talking about desirability of controlling our senses so that we'll be more healthy, more happy, and able to enjoy really life. The difficulties of controlling the senses also we have talked about, and it is very essential that we do that, at least we make sincere efforts. But how little we understand this, even though we experience, and how little help is available to us, where blinds are leading blinds in this world. It comes to my mind, I recently was looking at this Mercury newspaper in San Jose. It is supposed to be the newspaper of Silicon Valley. And in a parade section, there was an interesting articles and an eye-opener in the sense that what we have been talking is in reality happening, and we will see what solution the world is looking for and what solution the spirituality is going to give us, which is a real solution. They are talking about the teens and the issue of their health and some of the mental problems where nobody trusts anybody, whether it is within family, they cannot communicate, and how the doctors and others are coping with physical problems. Again, everybody is in business. We have to remember that. Nobody is serving anybody unless there is money. But the issue here is the teens, and our job is to help the teenagers. We want to really bring into focus because they are the future generation. They are the ones who needs guidance. They are the ones who are ignorant, even if they think that they know a lot just because they see television or read books. Their life and their practice and the results of their life tells us they are full of ignorance, whether they know it or not, according to spirituality. So this particular issue and the observation that we are going to make is in continuation with our topic of controlling the senses. I would try to keep this observation as close as possible. They are talking about health under the health section, better health. So doctors and the teenagers, communication. There is an 18-year-old girl in Connecticut who discovered that her belly button ring had become infected. As soon as she realized, of course, she went to a doctor. She has better sense, and that doctor, female doctor, examined her and treated her with antibiotics. But then the doctor told her, that is now this girl, 18-year-old girl, says that she told me, that is the doctor told me, if you were my daughter, I would be very angry at you for piercing your navel. This infection could damage vital internal organs. And the girl listened, but still she intends to keep the belly button ring. This incident tells us that even if the food we eat and we felt sick, we still intend to continue to eat. And that is what here is one thing, one of the most difficult situation where we suffer, we go to doctor, they even recommend, but we do not intend to take their advice. How difficult then it would be to take advice of the saints. We are not even vigilant or wise to look after our body, which even though we are body worshippers and we are after bodies, even then we don't even learn to take care of the bodies. So the teenagers have nowadays the problems. I would say we talk about teenagers up to age of 20, even 25. We can cover the whole age group, probably from 10 to 25 arbitrarily. This magazine also says that American teens face major health issues. More than half of teen aged 15 to 19 have had sexual intercourse. Nearly a million became pregnant each year, and an estimated 3 million contracted sexually transmitted disease. So annually there are 3 million cases with the disease that is transmitted through sex. And more than 70% of the high school seniors report at least some alcohol use. And besides the problems that make tabloid headlines, including accidents, violence, substance abuse, and mental health problems, teens have other health needs that must be addressed. These range from poor nutrition, lack of exercise and obesity, to sports related injuries, smoking, body piercing, and steroid use. When we see these reported, the statistics, the research organization, government, and the information we get, I am reading precisely this data, and we have been talking about this all along in our scriptural discussion. They are saying that teenagers are more at risk now than they were a couple of decades ago. In other words, the direction in which we are moving even 2 decades ago, 20 years ago, and today we are moving towards more risk towards health. And imagine we will ask the question how this is an age of study. As we have said, brahmacharya ashram, up to the age of 24 or 25, 1/4 of our life, we are supposed to focus on education, learning, what is good for us, what is good for our health, our body, our mind, our intellect, the purpose of life, who can help us, how do we get the best out of life, all these things that we have been talking about, and yet look at the results. So obviously we don't know what we have been taught in the school. These teenagers, is this what we learn? That there are between 15 and 19, they have 70% of them had sex, young people. And purity was the goal of the brahmacharya ashram, as we have mentioned already. Pregnancy, the diseases that it creates, then the substance, there's drugs and all we are talking about. Is this what our universities and schools are teaching? Are these people in society that is responsible to uh, educate our young people? Parents do not know any better, they cannot educate, but the institutions that take responsibility, the society, the mutual pressure and all that has resulted in this. And yet we might want to say that we are one of the most modern and advanced nation, one of the richest nations. The world wants to follow United States, and this is the disease, the cancer of that very country that is supposed to lead the world. The world looks forward to United States. Obviously, there must be something good also. We are not overlooking the facts that there is lot of good things we need to learn in this country: economic progress, the discipline, the mass production, trying to distribute to the people. But no matter what we have, if we don't know how to make the proper use of it, it is like food. We have all kinds of food, but we overeat, then the food became a poison. Similarly, all the facilities, money, and the wealth we have, if we don't know how to use, these are the results. This would be most unfortunate. If this happened in any other country, we would call them backward. We would call them people who are like animals. We would call them uneducated. We would call them people who are under no guidance and under no control. We certainly cannot be classified as human beings if young people do not know the goal and the life that they have to live after the 25 years, the married life, the responsibility that goes with it is already ruined at the teenage stage by the experiences that they are going through. So I think that somebody should be answerable to that. And I personally feel that the entire culture, entire society, the churches, the religion, the dharma gurus, the political system, the social system, every one of us is responsible. None of us will be barred from the responsibility of what we did with our children, our teenagers, our responsibility as parents. It is amazing that in spite of all the guidance that was available to us since 3000 years ago, we have not listened to anything. We think we are smart, intelligent. I think we are immature. We are really arrogant. We are so full of pride and arrogance and full of lust and greed that we suffer, and yet we don't want to even bother about looking into the problem of what is going on with teenagers. The doctors can only superfluously give some medicine to overcome temporarily the physical aspect of it. But what about the mental? How are we going to control the mental problem that is going on in them? And of course, the spiritual problem, we don't even reach at that stage. So, but nobody has the courage, honesty, and frankness to face this issue, to bring out and say that where this issue is real, and that there is a way, but the way nobody wants to uh, practice because there is no money involved in it, in spirituality. And we are all after money. If there is a solution that gives us money, then we'll run after it, and money has never solved the problem. It is the love, it is the understanding of spiritual law, it is the real disciplined life, and this is what we need. We don't need money for that, we need discipline, and that we do not have. So, again, my constantly reminding about these institutions, our culture, our religion, our life, I think it really is a sad affair, and there is no need for us to be in this sad state of affairs. When we think about our children suffering this, I think we have a solution, and whatever the stage and suffering we may have, we can still turn around if everybody will really be honest to themselves and re-examine and restructure our laws in the society, in our church, in our family. That is why we talked about those 4 ashrams in early stages, which were designed and developed through the experience, and yet we are in such a childish state of affair as if we have no experience of the past civilizations. This is the most unfortunate thing. Now there is another statement they have made. This says, we have too many adolescents, especially the ones between 12 to 14 years old, in mature bodies with immature minds. So all we are saying is an animal life where we are maturing in body by eating and playing with the body, and we are only body oriented people, worshipping the body, always concerned about how it looks and exercises and food, but we hardly go into the mind. We admit ourselves by this very statement that we have immature minds and big bodies. Again, as I said in the previous my statements, bigger the better kind of situation has really caused us all the trouble. I don't know who makes these statements, and nobody questions it that there is a problem. Bigger is not better. Look at our cars. We are buying bigger and bigger cars to show our pride and arrogance. We ruin the environment. We waste money. It's expensive to maintain these big SUVs. I wonder if we all need those cars on the highways, and yet we are doing it. This is the arrogance I'm talking about, but nobody wants to turn around because everybody is pampering, everybody wants to stay in business, so each one is pampering everybody else. So now, this statement that the adolescents between 12 to 14, which is so difficult to imagine that their bodies are so big already and their minds are immature. So even the body is premature. So it tells us that we are just body oriented people and just playing with the body like dolls and toys, and we are going to pay the price later on pretty heavily. This awareness, I do not think that any course in the university at anywhere is going to give this spirituality truthfully and strictly. So this another problem is that those bodies don't always conform to the societal ideals. In other words, we make an arbitrarily ideal that a girl should be so thin and tall and beautiful, and that is only an ideal. Most girls cannot be like that, or boys. So then they mentally feel bad that, oh, we are not the ideal in body, and then they will work for it, and all this suffering that goes through because we have arbitrarily imaginary ideas about who the idol is in the society. So again, the society, the television, this entertainment industry, these drugs, food, all of them are behind this thing where none of them have interest in your health. They have only interest in how much money they can extract from you. Of course, outwardly they say they are all interested in your health, but the way it is executed, the way they are in business, the way they are packaging food and clothes and other things, we know that there is only one interest. How can we sell this somehow to the people, whether they need it or not? So we are not interested in people honestly, we are only interested in ourselves. How can I make more money? I don't care what happens to you. This is the whole structure of our society today. Obesity and eating disorders are on the rise for a number of reasons. This one doctor says this. We have lifestyles that are more sedentary, that is lazy, as they call couch potatoes, or staying in the sofa all the time watching TVs for soap operas, or people also on the job sitting on the table all 8 hours, makes our life sedentary, lazy, and so busy that they don't allow us to plan and fix healthy meals. We have no time to cook even healthy meals. That is amazing. I don't know what we are earning here for. Even animals are eating better meals than we do, I think. We do not have time to fix meals. Combined with idealized images that tell us we will only be happy if we have a certain weight and body type. From there, it is a short hop to bulimia and anorexia and nervousness. These are growing even among boys. You can imagine what disease is coming to us, and yet I doubt, as a matter of fact, we already said that is on increase and is going to continue to increase because nobody really cares. We don't care who are suffering. Those who are causing us the suffering don't care. They have only one goal. How many dollars there are for me? What is there for me? The people who are victims, they say, is there a pleasure for me? Is there a pleasure for me in this food or whatever I am buying? I am going to buy it. So we have also want what is there for me. And the seller also says what is there for me in selling. I make money. So everybody is deceiving themselves according to the spiritual law. And yet look at this statistic, most unfortunate. Both boys and girls face health related problems their parents never had to deal with. Amazing as it is. Parents had it, but to a small degree. My own 19-year-old son, suffering stomach pains, discovered he had the beginnings of an ulcer when he went to the doctor. Why should a 19-year-old boy who is normally supported by his parents to go to school, pay attention to school, they should have no other anxiety, they should be so free, enjoying the sports, the innocent joys of life, learning about the future, and yet they have ulcers. Ulcers indicate anxiety, some worry, maybe not living right, financial problems, grade problems arbitrarily the universities having created, just like the ideal weight and beauty and all that. Similarly, in the school also we have idealized that everybody should have A or B. All these arbitrary standards created by the fools for the fools remains fools, and we just are say, and we are all patting back on each other's back that we are doing a wonderful thing. And this is what the statistics are telling us is a totally different situation. The facts tell us something else. So here there is another thing. Do you know what your kids are eating? There is a question here in this magazine. Many teens don't make healthy food choices, and eating disorders can be a serious problem among teenage girls and increasingly among boys. We have been talking about food, we've been talking about controlling the senses. Here are some of the results of the teenagers going through. Certainly, we should be ashamed as parents in a society. I don't know how we even call ourselves civilized. I would not call this kind of culture civilized at all. I think we should call it uncivilized. We call Africa uncivilized, people who live in jungles. I have been with people in India who live in the jungle. They are much more civilized. They are more healthy than you think, more simple in their life, more innocent than what we have made our civilization. It is very, very unfortunate comment, but these are the facts. If we must face it, whether we like it or not, because we ourselves are saying that we are in trouble. It is so difficult to imagine that more than half of the teenagers between 15 and 19 have sexual intercourse in the school. Is this the schools are teaching us? There is no control, there is no laws, no regulations, no help, no guidance, no love for them, not teaching what is good for them. Nobody cares. Everybody is in their own dream world. I think the teachers, the leaders, the politicians, the dharma, all are in their own dream worlds. They are all dreaming how they can go to heaven while they are creating a hell on this earth. This is what we are seeing. Unfortunately, this magazine is telling us. Uh, Here it says most teens do not have a sense of what's normal and what's not. And what we have been saying all the time is that we do not know what is right and wrong. Sat and asat, we do not know how to discriminate. Now we are saying that the teens don't have this sense of what is normal and what is not. Let's say, are their parents having any sense of what is normal and not normal? Are we blaming only the teenagers that they don't know what is right and wrong? Are we sure that their parents know what is right and wrong? And what are the statistics about the parents? More than 50% of the marriages result in divorces. So where are the parents? Where do these kids turn to? Why we have these statistics of children and teenagers and adolescents to face? Because the parents have divorced. They don't care. They are like animals themselves, running after women or men, irresponsible about their children, and God will demand the responsibility. If you have given birth to children, you don't care. You go for divorce and don't even think what will happen to your children. Who will give them love, care, and concern? And no wonder then they turn to the society and to the streets, and then they become the victim of what we are saying as drugs and substance abuse and not paying attention to school. And such a large percentage, it even shocks me. I never thought until I read this that though we do hear about this problem, that it is certainly to that degree, to that extent. I hope that at least we open our eyes, the parents and the society, to do something about it. Simply blaming children, they are ignorant. Of course, they need help. They don't know even that they need help. In the name of freedom, they are just doing what they want. parents have become weak and have no ability at all to even help their children in society. We simply earn, at the most we say, well, I got money, I will send them to school, but you don't know what they're going to do at school, even if you have money. Which school you are sending and what are they learning there? What is called success? Again we come to money. And then when the bubble bursts and the money gone, nothing is left, as what Mahatma Gandhi used to say. So I think that this is an eye-opening. I guess we must learn from these statistics, the medical problems. It is not only the medical problems, but these eating habits, sleeping habits, weight loss or gain, all these things, headaches, abnormal problems, abdominal problems and pains, gynecological problems, all these are mentioned in this article. I think that it will be nice if you got a hold of this edition of Parade of September 15th and read for yourself, think about it, what our message is all about, why the saints have been saying that 5,000 years since, and yet we have learned so little. As a matter of fact, it's not question of learning. We have deliberately opposed those teachings, and even I have noticed that even the churches who know these problems do not want to do anything about it, because if you say something to teenagers that do not have drugs or do not have sex, then they won't like it, so they won't listen to you, and you have lost the customer. And the churches are all after customers. And if you tell them what they don't like, they will not come to your church. So church says, okay, let's go ahead and compromise. Just give them whatever they want. Just tell them whatever they like is okay, but don't lose the customers. This is exactly what do when we're selling a Toyota or a Honda or a Chevrolet. We don't want to lose the customer at any cost, and the customer also doesn't want to lose buying if he can or she can. So if with this attitude, if churches, if the religious leaders who are supposed to give us the guidance in this field have this angle that it is important we get all the people that clients that follow us so that we have money flowing in, doesn't matter whether they are happy or not. They won't say that, of course, but that is their inner choice and inner decisions. And people, of course, are being ignorant, do not know that. Now, under these circumstances, what are we going to do? This is the problem. This is the question. Let's be honest about it. Let's open up the disease right from the roots. If it is cancer, let's say it's cancer. And then one good thing about spirituality is that no matter what problem we have, how serious it is, we can turn the tables around, we can rethink, we can help properly and turn the tables so that we will have a better life. We should never give up the possibility that God is always standing by, God is always going to help us. He is, as a matter of fact, eager to help us. Unfortunately, He is not going to help us unless we seek help. And seeking help means recognizing that we are on the wrong path and that we need help. We have to become humble. We ask, Lord, I need help. I am sorry what I have done. I am not happy. I am suffering. Please show me the path. And certainly, Lord or Mother would be very happy once the child tells Mother whatever problem there may be, overlook it, and we give a new start, a new life, a new opportunity. So everybody who is listening to this, let's have one decision made here that no matter what problems we have or what we have done in the past, we have an opportunity through these spiritual teachings to overcome all these problems, even the disease of the bodies, by controlling the mind and following this disciplined life, that we will have a more beautiful and peaceful life. We will enjoy the life and we'll have fun, and not a deceptive fun that we are getting nowadays, and an elusive fun. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.